Session. Unfortunately, this is our last session. We'll just see how we go. Things do change. Special thanks to my trainer, Senior Master Rod Ferguson from the Australian Academy of Tai Chi and Qigong. Also new signage as well. Special thanks to Samantha Hughes and her team from the Active and Healthy Citywide program, City of Gold Coast. Today, rainy day. Particularly like to do this set on a rainy day because a lot of the exercises actually relate to that sort of medium as well. I like to go through Shibashi 1 or Shibashi in Mandarin. Sinking back into posture. Some very good back exercises in here as well. I wanted to deliberately just come back to basics. Imagine a couple of pendulums coming down, sinking back into posture. So we're sinking directly into the body, condensing, contracting, and then expanding. This is the yang aspect. Coming up to the eyes, filling through with air, and this is the yin. We'll go through some special exercises that I personally do each and every day that I find helpful and that I know that my students do as well. Breathing in and breathing out. Just naturally allowing the body to collapse, condense. So when we have that, we naturally have the ability to expand, to project. Projecting up to the top of the head, opening up all the spaces through the discs, and then just relaxing again. Simple exercises to do each and every day. It's about simple maintenance. We turn to our left-hand side. Coming back into center. So even just with the aspect here of just rolling over the hands, we're working with joints, within the wrist and also with the fingers, elbows, shoulders. The chest naturally just condenses, and then we come up, we expand through the chest. So we're working off more than just one axis. I always say that we're working off a vertical axis, which is coming up through the spine. We're also working off a horizontal axis, which is actually going across the chest as well. We turn to our right hand side. Slowing down the breath. Often when we're rushed, we're hurried, tense, we do things naturally just too fast. But when we're aware of that, that's when we can slow things down. So we need to be in charge of our life. If we're not in charge of our life, something else is, some other situation is, or someone else is. Expanding, projecting, releasing. So this is like the S pattern. To me, it's like the curvature of really the yin and yang symbol. So there's always constant flow. And constant flow throughout the body is life. Life chi. Energy. When we have stuckness, we have a prelude to death. Just do one more. Relaxing again. Very simple exercises, just reaching up. I always like to work the joints within the wrist, within the fingers, elbows, shoulders. See how we sink back into posture? So we condense to actually go up. I use my hand coming down to here. It's like the movement we do in the lotus. I personally like that. I'll simply just relax the hand. Stretch one part of the body and then the other. One side of the body, I should say, because we're actually stretching all the way through the parts. Projecting. This is like the tiger from the 5 Animal series. And the tiger's a big cat, so we project up. We can even just sit down a little bit further into posture, so we have the loading upon the legs, we have the loading throughout the body, actually. The weight muscle loading, actually going through the whole body and just projecting down, and then we project up at the same time. So to me, this is like an isometric training exercise. We're actually using extension and contraction right throughout the body. Excellent exercise to do. And I do love all the exercises actually from the Lohan series. This one here from Shibashi X, where we gather, we breathe in, and pushing out. Focuses on the palms, the Lohan focuses the chi. Excellent breathing exercise. I always recommend this for better breath if you do have problems with any lung capacity, any breathing problems at all. Pushing out. See how we just release? This is the in aspect. We gather the air through the diaphragm, internally, into the chest. We've got to use that air for something purposeful. And then breathing out. Pushing to the sides. I like the aspects actually of Lohan 1 and Lohan 2 where you just push, you project out to the sides. Excellent exercise to do. Actually, you remember this one. Oh yes, this is a warm-up exercise as well. Remember this one in Lohan 2. We come down, we project out the elbows, we just relax the elbows as well, sinking back into posture. You can also massage Ming Men, right gate, around the back. Cooler day, you might be feeling cold in the back or just cold symptoms within. Always recommend massaging there. Never neglect it. If you're cold in an area or tense or stiff in an area, please just loosen that up. And massage around the kidneys. This provides a balance between the water element and also the fire. In other words, the heart, small intestine. Also within the fire element we have triple heater or triple warmer, which is not actually an organ, but relates to an energy system. And we project down. Hands can be forward. Hands are there. It's like we encompass the space. To here, hands come back. They come back towards the face. It's like we're examining our fingers, relaxing the arms, and then we push out in such a way. It's like 3 rings embrace the moon. Pushing out, hands point out, focuses on the palms. The warrior monk opens the temple gates. So we look to a left-hand side first. This is a great exercise for anyone who has asthma, bronchitis, cystic fibrosis, emphysema. Hands come back, and we push again, projecting out. We could go out to the right-hand side as well. So that's just one exercise that I just love. Circulation problems within the hands, always recommend this. Very simple exercise actually to do is projecting out. Very good for any arthritic conditions, any problems with sensation, sensitivity, circulation problems actually within the hands themselves, particularly within the joints of the wrist and also the fingers. Love to project. Coming back. This exercise always reminds me of another one. Hands to here. This is the first exercise actually from Shibashi X. The willows. Twisting the breaths. So just relaxing the arms. Hands just going forward and back. We come back into center, progressive exercise. So we start from a point and we simply just progress through the body. I love that sort of exercises because it provides extension, continuum. projecting out. Rolling the wrists. We come up into the elbows. So as we breathe in, coming up into the elbows, extending to the chest. When we do extend to the chest, we lift the shoulders. Very easy exercise actually, just for lifting through the shoulders and just relaxing. Through the shoulders, relaxing. Relaxing through the chest. The willows twisting in the breeze. First exercise from Shibashi X. A lot of my students tell me I've slept on the in such a way that they've actually got a stiffer. They haven't had a good night's sleep. Slept in a strange way, in other words. So this is a very good exercise to do. Pushing. Pushing up. Personally, I like a lot of exercises where we just push up like this, we rotate through the wrist, projecting up through the palms, extending through the fingers and just releasing. Now you don't have to do these exercises on a big scale. I'm simply just showing the extension as far as what I like to do. But if you want to do even just to here, even seated exercise, just so there. I do have students who just can't take their hands or one particular hand or arm higher than the shoulders. So pushing out. It's what you can do. I focus on what people can do. So always has been loose, agile, flexible, and only going as far as what you feel comfortable. And only doing whatever's appropriate for you as well. So we always approach things safely. So we don't hurt the body. All these exercises are designed to help, not to hurt. Pushing. And when I do push up with my palms, body sinks back into posture. So we have that extension that comes out. A little bit of a gap here in the arms as well. Shoulder comes back. Body sits into posture to support the movement. Extension through the palm, the lower hand. And also a rolling sensation. Pick up the air, to gather the air through the body. And then to expel. Excellent exercise to do. Coming down to waist, figure eight. Always suggest this exercise, this particular exercise, because most people do sit too long. And it's very easy just to sit. Particularly in front of the computer. Oh, this is something else I need to do. Or something else I need to check. And also winding down like a spring. Winding down like a spring. Feet exercises, always creating a safe foundation first. We transfer weight down. I like this exercise here, just a swiveling action here, just sitting within the body. Placing that foot down, transferring weight out the left hand side, we sink down to posture, always creating that safe foundation, and then we swivel with the right foot, sitting. So our weight is going directly down through the body as well. Placing that right foot down. From here, this also gives confidence. I know, particularly with elderly, because I work with a certain section of 70s plus. When they have that confidence to do that particular exercise, that's when they have the confidence to actually step out. To some elderly, it's quite intimidating actually to take that step. Especially unaided with a walker or a cane, or with a helper beside them. So all the rotational aspects here through the feet, through the knees, and also through the hips. Placing that foot down, making sure that's safe. We transfer weight over, and we step out. Great exercise to do. And that's why I always suggest this one as well. Transferring weight over the right hand side, and we swivel off the toes. Increase range of movement, increase range of rotation. You can see we don't need a lot of space. That's what I love about Tai Chi. Placing that foot down, and from the heel taking the toes out. So rainy days like this, even though it's not cold, it's just cool. To me it's just cool. I personally love the cold. I enjoy it. It's about innating good circulation. Making sure we have good circulation throughout the body. Also making sure we have good sensitivity, particularly to the feet. Good circulation, sensitivity to the feet. And also, not just the blood going down, but aiding the venous return, aiding the heart with the venous return coming back up. Most people in very cold regions or cold environment, they tend to be inactive. They tend to sort of rug up, and that's perfectly human. I mean, animals do that too. Transferring weight out the right hand side, and step out with the heel to here. This one's called empty step because we can just take that foot away if we wish. I always used to think of bushwalking. Be walking along a track and, oh, no, I don't want to step on that, or that particular rock, you know, crossing the stream or something like that. So take that foot over and you put it somewhere else. Placing that left foot down, making sure that's a safe environment, and then coming down. Always a very good exercise actually for the stationary leg as well. You notice how both knees are bent. So sinking down a posture. Low center of gravity is always best because it is about connecting, grounding with the earth. So less chance of falling in the first place. In my case, I've had some very bad falls because of my injury, and I'm lessening that severity. I can't remember the last time I did fall, by the way. Coming out to here, it probably was about 2 years ago now. But I'm making sure that doesn't happen again too. And that's why I do these exercises on a daily basis. Placing that foot down. That's why I say there's no rush, there's no hurry, please. Because if we do rush, we usually have accidents. We usually make mistakes. The mind is ahead of the body, or there's a disconnection, there's a miscommunication. From here, sinking back into posture. This one's a challenging one for me, simply because it's a weight-bearing exercise upon my left leg. So I find this one quite challenging. Coming back. That's why I use the aid of a chair here. Coming over. So very simple exercise. I'll just start with my right foot, just so I can see that. So when I come up, imagine a string actually which is on the knee. I sink down a posture just on the left, create that low center of gravity. And all I'm doing is simply just lifting the knee. Here, I mean, if I just had one finger, that's quite okay. Because it's tactile, because I can feel the chair with that, oh, that's all right, that's quite safe. I can do that. I'm just holding on with both hands here, just to make sure I have that security, particularly on the left-hand side. Now, if we do this exercise very fast, it's a very effective aerobic exercise. But when we do slowly, we have mindful awareness about how our body works and how to work with it. So yes, it's deliberately just slowing down the movements And that's what I like about Tai Chi as well. Deliberately just slowing down the movement so we can, we have time to think about it. And also we have time to feel the movement. The key point is to feel the movement. Otherwise it's all just about momentum. All we feel is just the momentum of just going up and down. That's a very good leg strengthening leg exercise, particularly through, not just through the leg, but also through the ankle, in other words through the feet, through the knee, through the hip. And also you can feel that movement. You do this, I can feel that movement actually in the lower back and the lumbar region. And also I can feel that through the abdominals as well. So all this region is taken into account. So that's why I say our body works in collaboration, combination, companionship with the rest. It's not just not isolated areas, not isolated exercises at all. Another way of doing this exercise as well, and I quite agree with this one too, I think this is excellent. Sinking back into posture, again, just imagine that spring. And what we're doing is actually just going out. Now the exercise of this one here. It's like gazing at the moon. Tibetan dance. We come over from one side to the other. It's like when we place the foot and also placing the incense in the urn. See how we just step out with that foot to there. We feel the surface first and then we place the weight. We come over and I'll just do this exercise here. Placing the foot behind. Tibetan dance. Sinking back into posture. I personally have to place my foot there first, and I always suggest that, always with the feet first, so we have that environment, that safe environment first. Hands come down, feeling with the foot first, sinking back in posture. Coming in with the instep, and then we come up. We have that projection. Tibetan dance from Lohan 2. Okay. Coming back into centre. One of the best exercises to do when you've been on your feet for some time is this one here. Shoulder width apart. Squeezing. I always think of my feet actually like frog's feet because it is that spread. Even within shoes, it's just that spread out. Through the foot. We get the weight bearing exercises going directly down the body. My arms are really like balance beams. So I just get on a couple of pendulums actually, just sinking back into posture. And this is particularly good for the quadriceps. This aids the venous return back to the heart. So it aids the pumping action back to the heart, makes it much easier for the heart. So in winter, colder conditions, the blood is thicker. In summer, it's more viscous. But what we want to do is cool the blood in summer, and of course, we warm the blood in winter. And sinking back into posture. Okay, this exercise as well, transferring weight out the right hand side. We step out with the left foot to there, pushing. So this is a projection up through the body as well, through the foot, through the leg, through the torso, extending out from the arm to the hands. So breathing in. So we breathe in when we push. When we come back into center, we breathe out. And then when we push towards the back, we breathe in as well. So we get that extension through the body. Simple exercise to do. Both knees bent, and I'll just come down a little bit further. If you want a little bit more load bearing, I always suggest that. The load bearing aspect here, we actually extend up through the body. And then just relax. And breathe in as we come up the other side. Coming back into center, always making sure that's a safe position there. We transfer weight over, we step out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. As if I'm pushing back against the wall, and as if I'm pushing against the wall. Coming back in the centre. Love this exercise. I'll turn around for this one. I don't think I've done this one turning around. Transferring weight over the right hand side. We step back with the left foot to there, pushing back with the palms. When we place the heel, we push forward. Again, as if we're pushing against a wall. Breathing in, breathing out as we come back in the centre, and breathing in. And extension from the Achilles heel, from the right throughout the leg, through the gastrocnemius into the big muscles here, gluteus maximus, gluteus minimus, and then projecting up through the spine to the top of the head. Bringing that left foot back in, we transfer weight out the left hand side and step back. Always making sure you have that gait, in other words, the support from the shoulders as you're going down to the heels as well. Heel up like this, so we're pushing back and we push forward. Very good exercise, simply for backs, because we do get that gentle projection up through the body. Extension through the back. And coming back into centre. Okay, change the music for you, and I'll go through Shibashi 1, or Shibashi in Mandarin. Shoulder width apart, horse riding stance. You can come in a little bit further, a little bit out. You can have the toes just pointed slightly in, just to give that grip, just to give that solidarity there. Personally, I like to change my footing a little bit each time. That way, a good circulation actually for the legs. So, sinking back into posture. Always recommend this as preparation. Shoulder width apart. This is just an exercise within itself. Most people tell me they are not strong in the feet, strong in the legs, simply because of sitting too long, or just inactivity in many ways. So always recommend this exercise. That flow down through the body as well. The projection, the balance from the upper through the middle to the lower ends of the body. This is where we center. This is where we connect with the earth. Low center of gravity, less chance of falling, or if we do fall, we lessen the severity as well. And then just projecting up. It's a very good breathing exercise as well, because we actually breathe. Whole point is we breathe through the whole body, not just through the lungs. First exercise, waving arms in the air in the horse riding stance. We sink back into posture. We have that extension from the shoulder coming out to all the joints in the wrist, extending out through the fingers, and then just rolling back. So as my hands go down, my body comes up. Extending out. Body supports the movement of the extension of the fingers, the wrists going out, and we just wave back. Waving arms in the horse riding stance. Very good for backs because it does open up all the spaces through the discs and projects up through the top of the head, and I hope you do feel that. But with practice, if you don't, I think you will. Very good for the chest. Find this as an excellent exercise just for breathing alone. Very good for sensitivity. In other words, what we're doing is actually activating and maintaining good sensitivity down through the legs to the toes. Most important for the elderly, because if they do knock upon something, stub their toes upon something, the shoe or whatever, that it registers that back to the brain so they can correct things, come back into posture. And best way to actually prevent the fall is actually to come back, sink back into posture itself. So it's like we roll up into a ball. We actually condense into the body in such a way so that we can absorb the pressure first, but also maintain a good upright stance. Very good for the squeezing action here, with the muscles, tendons, ligaments actually wrap around bone. So it strengthens bone internally as well as externally as well. I'm just doing the exercise very slowly. See how it's just even just that smallest of movement. So it doesn't have to be a great move at all. For people who can't or don't wish to make a big move, it doesn't have to be at all. So you can always adjust. I'm even just doing a small movement here. Also, it stimulates and invigorates the central nervous system as well. So very good for memory, for brain power, for reasoning. So very good for the brain as well. And I've also read where COVID-19 actually does affect the brain. Why wouldn't it? Because it affects the every other system within the body. Second exercise is to change that exercise again. Very simple exercise. To expand through the chest. We project. I personally like to extend through the wrist, through all the joints in the wrist, and also the fingers to extend out. And why not include that in the exercise? And then simply just to contract. So come back to here and push down. So pushing down with the hands, projecting up with the body, and then just releasing. Yin and yang, opposite yet complementary. But long flowing, extensive breath throughout the body, aerates the body. But most importantly, what we want to do is actually get out as much stale resident air throughout the body as well. And that way we have the capacity, we have the volume to take in the new, fresh oxygen. Breathing in. And breathing out. Just do one more. So basic principles. That's why I just wanted to come back to basics today. A lot of people sort of huddle up on days like this and they do very little exercise. What I'm promoting is do the exercises which actually help you stay warm internally as well. Wonderful exercise here, talking about rain. Hands just coming up to here. I'll turn around for you. So we sink back in posture. You can always use this as a rest station as well, just to sink. We transfer the weight over the right hand side and we extend to the left. So when we do project out, looking out through the left shoulder here and extending through the hand, we breathe out. And from here, we're lifting that string through the top of the head. Transferring weight over the right hand side, so we have the weight bearing aspect actually on the right hand side. And we come back into center and breathing in. Transferring weight over the left hand side, and we breathe out to the right. Painting the rainbow as if our hands are like two big paintbrushes, painting across the sky. Painting the rainbow. Back into center. The track I'm playing at the moment is called Ocean Waves. Pushing up. This is one of the best exercises you can do first thing in the morning. I always recommend stretching up, but before you do, coming down first. So providing that safe foundation, and that way provide that extension up. And if you can, this is optional, coming up on the toes for extending for as far as what you wish, for as long as what you wish. and then just hands just projecting out. See how the hands just come out. They're not bone against bone, but sinking back into posture. So we have that stretch. And also we have the stretch from the leg, or you could say from the foot, coming up to the hand, and that's on both sides. So to me it's like drawing two capital C's and just releasing. Separating the clouds. Personally, if it rains for 3 days, I forget what the sun looks like. Great exercise, particularly for backs, for lifting, for opening up all the spaces through the disc. Very good for internal organs, for the abdominal organs as well, because when we do sit too long, they get suppressed and repressed. What we want to do is actually loosen them up so they can come back into the normal positions, into the normal functional positions, and so they can function effectively and efficiently, of course. Just do one more. That's one of the best stretches you can do. If you do come up on your toes, we're strengthening through the toes. We're also strengthening through the legs as well. Turn around for this one. That right hand just goes back. Focuses on the palm. We come up to center line as we breathe in. Actually, we'll do it this way. That way you can see that front hand. So we're pushing down. What I'm doing is actually pushing down with my left hand in such a way so that we rotate through the body. We extend, and we come back. Rowing arms in the horse rein stance. Extending, releasing. So we can look towards the back, and we could look towards the front. Doesn't really matter. This is a great exercise actually for extension through the shoulders, just for one thing. Through the elbows, extending through all the joints of the wrist and also the fingers. And coming forward. Very good exercise actually for just releasing tension, just through the shoulders. And through the neck. See how the neck just always turns. Oh, we're looking this way, oh that's okay. And then we'll just look forward. So you have all the attributes there. And coming forward. Hands coming back, sinking back into posture, just rolling over the wrists. See how we sink down. Again, taking in that weight through the body. Extending. Be careful with this exercise not to overextend with the hands. So the body actually supports the movement, and we project out and come down. Rolling over the wrists. This is rowing the boat. So with balance and with symmetry, our hands come down. Always imagine your hands like two big oars. The imagery is most important because here's the part where we just strike the water, we push back. Feel the resistance of the water. Not with tension, actually with relaxation. It's simply just with movement. So feel the movement of the water. Surfers do this when they're paddling. Particularly longboarders, you know, actually when you're having fun, you're either kneeling or you're lying down, you're paddling with both hands. Pushing back. Very good for standing up and releasing and coming back. I love that movement. It reminds me of surfing so much. And releasing. This one here, just might need the aid of a chair here. This one. So we take the knee up. Again, just imagine that, that string upon the knee. It's going to do. I'll start on the right hand side just for you. So imagine that knee coming up, supporting the ball in front of the shoulder. We place the foot down in such a way so that we feel the movement, then that gradation of the weight actually just transferring Coming over the right hand side, and then with the left hand. Gaze is forward, so we're feeling the movement, please. We don't have to look at where our arms and legs are. That's what I'm trying to say. So we feel. Key point is to feel. The hand just comes up, just projecting out just in front of the shoulder. To me, it's like tapping down a tennis ball just in slow motion from one side to the other. Very good for legs. Very good coordination exercise. I do this a lot actually with my elderly patients because it coordinates the brain very well. What we do want, all the exercises actually help the left and the right hand side of the brain to coordinate and to communicate. Excuse me. Left hand side is the very logical side. Oh, I haven't done this before. And the right hand side is very creative side. So, oh, bugger it, let's just do it. So it's innate in that communication, that coordination. And that's the whole point. And we come down. Sinking back into posture, we project. Gazing at the moon. So it's like pushing up a big window to gaze at the moon. We're just coming off full moon at the moment, I think. When we do come down, breathing out. Excellent exercise actually for the abdominals. I always think of the abdominals on this and all the regions of the back because we sink back into posture and we project up. And projecting through all the joints and the wrists and also the fingers here as well. And just releasing. This is one of the best exercises to do first thing in the morning too. All the rotational aspects actually through the chest. Rotational aspects through internal organs. And also through lower back. Lower back usually gets the most work because that's where we put the most pressure on when we're lifting things. So that's why lifting is so important. Coming back, I'm going to digress here. Hands coming to here. You might remember this exercise actually from lower hung line. Sinking back into posture. Very good exercise actually for the pelvic girdle. Sinking back, and we project up as we breathe in. Coming up on the toes is optional, and then we just release towards the back. Hands extend out. Elbows are extending out to the sides, but we're not carrying the elbows. See how the elbows just release, and we go from a flat position here, or almost flat, to a rounded position. So the outside of the hand starts to curve in, and that helps us do the exercise as well. The spiral in lotus, or the lotus spirals downwards, and hands is coming around. Again, we can massage Ming Men, right gate. Very important bladder and also kidney area as well, so it strengthens through the back. Rolling over the hands, also massaging the kidneys as well. You can also just go down with the hands. Turn around for you. This is a great exercise to do. I know I always come back to this one. Projecting down with the hands and projecting down with the fingers. We just release. Very good for backs. Simple, very simple exercise. You can be going up with the elevator and just do this exercise. People just wouldn't even know what you're doing. Maybe just loosening up your suit. So very simple exercise to do. Coming back. Going down the outside, only going down as far as what you feel comfortable. So we always directly just go down through the body. Again, picking up something very heavy, but emphasis is on supporting, not just the back, but through the whole body. Support. Doing it in such a way so that you do not hurt yourself in the first place, that you help yourself in whatever task that you need. Breathing in. As we naturally come up, we naturally breathe in as well. And I love this part as well. Peacock unfolds its tail, and that's where you get that projection going out with the hands before we go into wild horse drinks water on the left and then the right hand side. So, coming up to there, I know I've done gazing at the moon, number 8. Number 9, an exercise we do use in the lotus, and also in the lotus we start with our left hand Shibashi one, we start with the right. That's the only difference. So, horse running stance, sinking back into posture. Always recommend just check your stance first if you feel a little bit stiff on your feet. Always doing this exercise. Taking your time. 1 or 2 correct movements is better than doing 5 or 6 incorrect. So it's making the most of that. Making the most of that moment. Don't rush, don't hurry. No need. So we gather with the right palm into the palm itself. Other hand is just resting there. I always think about, oh, dog is jumping up, so we're just patting dog down. So we breathe in as we come up to center line to here. We sink back into posture and we push the right hand side over to the left. Turn waist, push hands, or to push the door, or to push the temple door, or to face the wind, or to push the palm, or to press the wind. When I push out, projecting out. Just as an aside as well, we just release. This is just a little exercise I love to do. So we push. I often do this before I do, often do this movement with my class before I actually do turn waist, push hands. So we just release. I always think of the power stroke, pushing out, and this is the intake stroke or the relaxation stroke. It's like pistons. To me, it's like the internal combustion engine. Pushing out. And that is just an exercise in itself. In rotation. Very good for the back. Very good for the shoulders. Very good for the neck as well, because we're looking this way. So neck is involved. Most shoulder exercises actually involve the leg, the neck, because of that connection. You can't help but not do that. And also we can't help, oh, it's much easier or much safer actually if we look to where we're going anyway. Pushing out. So it's all the little fundamentals, it's the little big things along the way which make the big difference. I used to talk about that as a surfing coach, and when I taught stand-up paddling, what's up? So just release, I'll just do one more. So this exercise, turn waist, push hands or to push the door, or to push the temple door, or to face the wind, or to push the palm, or to press the wind, is one of the best balancing exercises you can do. Balances the left and the right hand side of the body, the upper, middle, and also the lower ends of the body, and also balances the left and the right hand side of the brain as well. So we do get that communication, that collaboration between each. And that's what we need. It's like if you have that fantastic dream, a very creative dream at night, but you forget about it. Or what I try and do is actually, I think of the dream and then but I had that, I'm working on the communication to remember it and actually to write it down. It might be a drawing, it might be a cartoon. That's the sort of things I work on as well, to push out. And coming back. With this exercise, rolls into the other one, so the left hand actually pushes over to the right hand side, and we simply just release. See how the arm just comes down, just connects with the body. So there's no carrying the arm. It's just nice and light. Palm is down to here. Always think of, oh, your smartphone, you've got your smartphone. Oh, where's the class? So you look in a Google map. And we're simply just turning through the waist as we come over to the left-hand side. If we sink down a little bit further, we can actually roll. Excuse me, we can actually just roll over a little bit further. In other words, take that from 180 back to about 220. So we can sink back into posture, and that's very good for flexibility, particularly through the abdominals, but also particularly through the back. We need the flexibility through the back, or increasing flexibility, or maintaining that increased flexibility through the back. It's like we're holding the ball. So my left hand is up to here, right into here, and all we're doing is actually just rolling that over. I know my new students have, this is a little bit challenging for them, just to learn the coordination. Cloud hands, appropriate for today, it's still raining. So it's like looking at the clouds. When we see the big clouds, the cumulonimbus or the cumulus clouds, rain-bearing clouds, they change shape. So our hands are rolling and changing shape like clouds. 10th exercise from Shibashi 1. Hands coming back. Okay, I'm going to change the music again. I'll do the lotus for you. And I always say to my new students, well, when I've done Shibashi 1, I just go, well, there's a couple of exercises there you've already done. With turn waist, push hands, we start on our left-hand side in the lotus. Shibashi 1, we start with the right. So that's really the only difference. I say the first two exercises are the same as the two of the last. To me, they're like bookends. We're just filling in the middle. So, before you do anything, I always suggest, just relax. And I always use this as a relaxation exercise, as a preparation. In other words, preparation for the exercise ahead. And also as a muscle building exercise as well. Very good for blood flow, returning the blood flow back to the heart. Because we need that even pump from the heart to keep the rest of the body calm. Sinking back into posture. Waving arms in the air, the horse riding stance. Turtle treads water. So imagine your hands like the fins of a turtle. Pushing the turtle along. Expansion and contraction, yin and yang, opposite yet complementary. Snow rabbit digs the earth. Scooping and gathering fresh spring water, pouring upon the land. The lotus flower blooms out of the swamp. And the rains fall down. And the crops grow towards the sky, coming up on the toes, if you wish, to extend as far as what you wish, for as long as what you wish. And even in the extension, may I suggest just simply just relaxing in the movement of extension. And we come back. So we gather with the left hand. We gather in the palm. Turn waist, push hands, or to push the door, or to push the temple door, or to face the wind, or to push the palm, or to press the wind. From the belly button, we lift the sky, coming up to the eyes, to press the earth, always bending from the waist first, bending from the knees, only going down as far as what you feel comfortable, to scoop, to gather. And in this process, what we're doing is actually pushing down through the feet, extending up through the legs. So the right hand pushes down, it's like you've got a safe surface there. You're pushing down, and then we project up with the left hand. The elegant white crane stretches its wings in the morning sun. This is one of the most dynamic stretches, so please do not disregard this one. Dynamic stretch across the chest and also across the back. and we just release. And I always think of like two ships in the night, they just pass. So we get the relaxation in the middle and an extension from down below to up high. Last two exercises. Snow rabbit digs the earth. Scooping and gathering into the body. Extending. We're not holding the breath, we're actually releasing again. All that good air, you don't just hold on to it. You've got to use it and you've got to release it. So we start the form and we finish the form with waving arms in the air and the horse riding stance. And may I suggest placing the hands just below the belly button, the danti yen, center of energy. We actually have a danti yen here in the middle and also just down below as well. Earth of earth, quiet standing, standing zen. Hands coming away. I'm Brad Holmes, Tai Chi Gold Coast. Thank you for joining us through this series. I still will be continuing the 1 minute, 1 or 2 exercises through the series as well. Thank you for joining us. I've certainly enjoyed your company.